Hello. Oh, club. There you go. Hi. Where are you? I'm here. Hi. Hello, Sabujo. Hello, Gamer Plays. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. Finally, the week is over. Yes, indeed, the week is over. So, I don't have incredible news. What happened? What happened? What happened, Sabujo? I finally platinum Bloodborne today. Congratulations, Sabujo. Was it was it hard? Is it like one of the harder games to platinum? Make sure you use Clump 10 on Advanced GG. Yes, Clump 10 on your Advanced GG orders. Did he use Clump 10 as a cheat code? The only trophy missing was the real trouble. Sorry, I'm yawning a lot lately. I think just for today. Hi, Ghoul. Get to her, you have to go through all the optional dungeons. That does sound... What do you call it? How are you? Why are you role-playing stuttering? Dude. I'm fine. I hope you're doing well today. You can talk normally, you know? You don't have to roleplay. I'm being a shy guy. Like the shy guy from Mario? Or like the anime shy guy? I'm pretty sure the shy guy from Mario just sounds like wow. Wow wow. Or something like that. Wow. Wow wow. I hope you had the cool mask. Shy guy ASMR. Shy guy cosplay sounds fire though. It's only like a mask and a red cloak or something, isn't it? But yes. I was gonna do gaming today, but as you can probably tell, I'm feeling pretty tired. So I haven't done. I need to do my ASMR for like my YouTube, so we're just gonna do a live ASMR recording chat. You get to see it live today. Red hoodie and mask. I have a couple of scripts here. I'm still trying to low-key decide between. But I might just choose a shorter one, like a 700 word one. I think it's 700 words. Yeah, 700 words. It's pretty short. Can you speedrun the ASMR? No. I can, I'll show. Browser, window. Like editing and posting, but on the timer. You want me to speed run the whole thing? Like the recording, the editing, the splicing out the the retakes and everything, and then posting it all in one day. That's what you guys want. All within stream. You get a world record because nobody did that. I get a world record of posting ASMR. Oh, here, I'll move Clump. There you go, chat. Also, Papa Von is doing something in the backyard, so sorry if you hear, like, music in the background. I don't think you do, because I don't think my mic is picking it up. Sorry if you do. At least I'm not. Yeah, I don't think it's picking it up. Which is good. I'll probably stay for a while and then leave for night reruns. It's okay. I'm only gonna... Wait, why is it... above table? There you go. You can have it as background AS. It's a copyrighted song. I don't think I can. Hi, Anthony. I hope you're doing well today. At most, I think probably hour-long stream today. Probably. I was gonna do more gaming, but I got really busy and I forgot. I low-key forgot. But here is the script that I will be using. The script is no destination in sight, soft-spoken, rainy day, rainy night vibes, melancholic, silent passenger. Very wholesome, very platonic. I guess more like sleep aid kind of thing. Wow, words. The summary is a reflective, exhausted driver monologues to their silent passenger, Noah, I guess. I didn't know you could read those. A reflective, exhaustive driver monologues to their silent passenger, reader, during a late night drive through a rainy city. Surrounded by flashing lights, strangers, and fleeting heights, they speak honestly about guilt, addiction, and the numb ache of living without purpose with no destination in sight. The night becomes a confession booth behind the wheel. I wonder if I should do like a confession stream chat. Like viewer confessions. Hi, Clay. Oh, Clay, it's been a while. I hope you've been doing well today, Clay. Wait, chat. Do you want me to read it or do you want Clump to read it? Construction of the property is almost finished. You sound like you've been working hard, Clay. The forbidden Clump ASMR. Here, I will change to Clump. I will be Clump. They have two clumps, chat. There are two clumps inside of me. Here, big clump. Big clump, chat. Big clump. Make this clump a little smaller. It is the mama clump and her baby clump, chat. It's been a 5-year project? Oh. Well, congratulations then, if it's almost finished. Congratulations. Oh. Okay, chat. We have to set the mood. So I have to turn off my background music. I have to turn off all my alerts and everything, okay? Can't have anything interrupting the ASMR. Huh? There's two of them. Alright, chat. I believe it is now just you, me, and the stream. Oh, and also that. Turn this off. Are you ready, chat? It is time for Friday Clump ASMR. Like when you're hugging the little guy, we are the little guy. No, Clump is Clump. Clump is just Clump. Need your Clump. Nice and center. Yes. Okay, chat. Although, sorry in advance if I do like a couple retakes because I misspeak or something, or I fuck up the line or something. I'm just letting you know. Later, I'll edit all the retakes out. So like when it's posted on YouTube and whatever, it's just the full edited, uninterrupted. Okay, so I'm just letting you know. Most likely a couple of retakes for lines. You know what I hate the most about nights like this? It's not the rain, not even the cold. It's the mirror the city becomes. Glass, puddles, windows. showing me who I am, or maybe just who I am not. Every red light we pass, I see my face staring back, and I swear, I don't recognize it anymore. There's hundreds of faces out tonight. People stumbling between bars, lighting up like it, oh, lighting up like it means something. We pass them every night, and I think maybe I could care, but it gives me nothing. Not anymore, at least. There's a bottle in the back seat. Hey, don't look at me like that. I filled enough glasses tonight. I filled enough glasses tonight to drown the whole damn block. It never sticks though. Warm for a moment, then gone. Like everything else. We keep hoping that some angel's watching. That something out there is still kind. But if they are, they've got their backs turned. Do you ever pray? I used to, when I was young, before I knew better. Now I just say amen like I'm daring God to answer back. Sometimes the panic hits like a blizzard. My hands shake, the wheel slips, and I wonder if this is the night I just disappear. Street lights blur, colors melt into the glass, and voices rise. Not mine, not yours, just noise. No one hears them, but they won't stop. I sometimes look up and whisper, make it stop, over and over. Just make it stop. By morning, I stumble out of another bar. Cops might show again, and it wouldn't be the first time. Same story, different night. Easy roads, they make weak people. That's the truth of it. And us, we're strangers, even to ourselves, drifting past other strangers in this glass-covered graveyard. I used to chase adrenaline, used to think it could fix something. That maybe the next high, the next thrill would pull me back from the edge. It didn't. I walked the line between peace and collapse. Never meant to hurt anyone, but guilt doesn't care about intentions. And to my enemies, if they're still out there, yeah, I've got bad news. I'm still breathing. Still stuck in this goddamn loop. Still dragging my soul through puddles and pulsing lights. People talk endlessly. Praise one minute, sink the next. They sink your name, then drown in their own spit. And in the end, don't even remember yours. I got what I wanted. The freedom, the late nights, the life without limits. Since I was a kid, I've had my head in the clouds. But now I know that wasn't dreaming. That was hiding. And all this isn't art. This isn't beauty. It's just noise. I want silence. Real silence. But I'll never get it. Not while I'm still breathing. We've driven all night. We'll probably do it again tomorrow. The city keeps reflecting itself, trying to remember what it looked like before the lights all burned out. And us? We keep pouring another drink. Keep hoping someone's watching. Keep pretending it matters. But there's no destination. There never was. Still, you're here. And maybe that's something, even if it's not enough. Okay, chat, that's the end. Talk about a trauma dump, right, chat? Jeez. I kind of realized halfway through, oh, snap. This is a little bit depressing. The clumpiest of ASMRs. I didn't mess up as much as I thought I would, honestly. I messed up more in the beginning, but I'll edit it out. Okay, bye, Clump. I will go back to Nirvana. Bye, Clump. Bye. It definitely went a little flat for such an emotional script. I can do another retake later. Huh. I shall choose. I'll find a more upbeat one for the next one. Here you come. There you go. Back in your chair. There you go. I believe that one makes number 7, yeah? Ah! Yep. That makes number 7. Oh, hold on. I saw something. Let me read out what I saw. I'll read it out. This is a screenshot of someone's tweet. I don't know. They cropped out who tweeted it, so I don't know who initially tweeted it. It just made a noise. But it says, is it just me or it says, quote, is it just me or does it feel like every other female VTuber is dressed for a beach episode or a fantasy dating sim? I'm not against bold fashion, but it's starting to feel like creativity is getting overshadowed by the same old skimpy themes. Where's the love for traditional outfits, high fashion designs, or elegant fantasy wear? I love to see more characters rocking hanfu, intricate dresses, or even sharp suits instead of yet another lingerie-inspired look. Variety would be such a breath of fresh air. Unquote. I don't know if I can really fully agree on what this person tweeted, because that's a very funny take. I was quoting some, I don't know who it is, because where I saw this tweet from, they cropped out their name. But at least for me, I don't see a lot of VTubers that are low-key lingerie. I get what they mean if they were honest. I think, honestly, the only like low-key lingerie VTubers are like the very strictly lewd tubers, right? But even so, they also have, if they have other outfits, they have like other more variety outfits that take reeks of honesty and puritanism. Yeah, I don't see a lot of VTubers with. It's clear the variety. Here, let me put the tweet. Let me put the tweet on screen. Images. Here you go. This is what it was. But yeah, the variety isn't the issue. Isn't what they have the issue with. Like, they're saying that's what their issue is, the lack of variety, but it's really not what their issue is. I agree that models tend to be over-sexualized, but hiding that critique under lack of variety is so funny. I don't even think that a lot of VTubers models are over-sexualized, honestly. Unless the only VTubers on their timeline are strictly lewd tubers. You know? Like, I don't think, at least for me personally, I don't look at my outfit and think it's overly sexualized. I'm using my model as an example. Like, my model, if you just look at my outfit, mine's pretty modest, right? The only thing really shown are like the upper thighs and her chest, really, but that's about it. This is a pretty covered outfit. Even on my other, let me see. This outfit's pretty covered too. Granted, it's an academy uniform. Your model's still considered sexualized by any non-anime standards. That's true. Non-anime standards, yeah. But like, in like a strictly like artist perspective and like strictly art perspective and not like specifically anime perspective, then yeah. It's not, I don't think it's too sexualized, honestly. I definitely showed off more skin with this one. Even with my swimsuit outfit, I don't show up much. This one's definitely sexualized, but it's a swimsuit outfit. It's gonna show a lot of skin. And then this one's more modest. Granted, I'm showing shoulder and collarbone, but you know what I mean. This outfit's like the least sexualized out of all my outfits so far. Or maybe my academy one's the least sexual. Either way. The casual one's the least? This one? This one's the least sexual? Yeah? I can see that, yeah. But But it's like what you said earlier, Samuel. The variety isn't the issue. They have the issue with like the over sexualized outfits. It's not the variety of the outfits that they really have a problem with. Which, you, I guess like that can be your opinion. Like you can think that there's the over sexualization problem within the VTuber community because I think there is to an extent. It's not like a major problem, you know? Like it's not like VTubing is like a strictly 18 plus thing, but it's like a majorly 18 plus thing, you know? But no, not every VTuber's lewd or anything, or intentionally being sexual. Any VTubers that have like what do you call it? That are more sexual. They have like alt strictly 18 plus accounts for those kind of posts, you know? Unless their main account is the 18 plus lewd thing. There's an over sexualization problem in media in general. It's true. That is very true. Yes. Let me see. Yeah, let me put up the tweet that I saw this from. I haven't read their take on it yet. So this is the tweet I got it from Cynical. Cynical said in their tweet, in their response to this tweet, I'm sorry, but seeing this pisses me off. Not judging a VTuber by what. Oh my goodness, I cannot read. Cynical says, quote, I'm sorry, but seeing this pisses me off. Not judging a VTuber by what they want to put on their anime avatar would be such a breath of fresh air. VTubing is an escape. Some of us come from places, cultures that shun us for dressing how we want. Also not going to directly retweet the OB since I don't want them to get too much traction / hate. Their VTuber model is literally guilty of what they're complaining about. Oh, okay. Then what a crazy take, honestly. What a crazy take if your model does exactly what you're complaining, honestly. I saw the replies to posts. There are only a few kinds. One, I'm not like those girls post PNGs that's pick me / promo. Two, yeah, women dress that way for money. It's so disgusting. Can we just wear what we want to wear? Also, wait. Why is it only... I just realized it. Why is it only targeting the females? It's such a prevalent issue because it sells. Sex does sell. That's like marketing 101. Sex sells. Try to match that critique so you don't sound like a nagging grandma is so funny. Because no one cares about male sexualization, duh. And that's the problem. And that's the problem, really. Like, men can go to beaches and then just be shirtless and show off their nipples. But women can't? Women can't just go to the beaches and show off their nipples? When men do it, it's fine, but when we do it, it's a fucking crime. Okay? Double standards, am I right? Don't actually go to the beach and intentionally expose yourself. But I'm just saying, you know? It's like, it's kind of giving like school, like the school dress code, you know? Like the dress code for women or girls in school is way more strict for men than it is for men. Like back in the day, we women, we couldn't even wear wear like strap tees because it showed our shoulders or it showed our collarbones, and we would be distracting the male students because we were showing our shoulders. We're wearing a shirt that's too short, that has like a too short sleeve, and we need like a longer. We need either a jacket or something to cover up with, or we gotta go home. you know. Also, we had to have skirts that went past the tips of our fingers, that went past our fingernails. So we end up having skirts that's like right by the knee or whatever. And even if we did have a skirt that was past the fingers, they could just say, "Oh, your skirt's too short anyway," and they still kick us out, you know? But men can wear or like the other high school boys, they could wear fucking, what do you call it? They could literally wear their basketball uniform to school that has no sleeves, their uniform shirts, and their shorts. I think they're longer, but some shorts they're pretty short for men's sports. Also, the football team, they're literally wearing tights. They're like literally wearing tights for their football uniforms, and you don't see anybody else complaining about that. Have you ever thought that football might be a sexual sport because the men are wearing tights? Sexualization and objectification are problems that plague women, but attacking women doing it instead of trying to educate people and tackle the issue at its core. Like instead of like it's not a woman problem. It's a society problem. It's a social norms problem. Because even if we are in the 21st century, we still have there's still stigma against women in general, you know? Like no matter what we do, even if we're doing the most pure-hearted shit, you know? Even if we're doing the most pure-hearted thing ever, there's nothing, no underlying thing going on under it, people are still gonna say, "Oh, I see what you're doing," you know? It's like, damn, bro, I can't even get like, I'm not even doing anything. Like I'm just over here. I'm sitting over here with Clump, and still somebody somehow in the world is gonna see Clump, and they're gonna see me, and then they're gonna say, "Oh, they're sexualizing her because she has tentacles near her body." You're like, huh? Like, bro's just existing. Like he can't even. His tentacles can't even interact with me. Like I'm just existing, Clump's just existing, but somebody somewhere is gonna try to find some non-existent hidden meaning under it, you know? Sorry, Clump, I didn't mean to shake you. Goodbye. Go. Thank you. Uh-oh. Come back, Clump. Here you are. Yeah, I'll close this. We'll take this off. Bye. Sorry to derail. That just popped up on my timeline just now. We love impromptu on the. Oh, thank you. Oh. Oh, yes, that's right. I still need to finish my design. I need to update the thing. I have to put the clump on the strand. Can't forget to do that. I gotta send it to my artist soon. Is there anything else? Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong account. This one. That's a pretty long video. Maybe I'll save that for tomorrow, actually. I don't feel like watching a long video. Ah! I don't think I have anything else to do today on stream. You want clump? Here. Here you go. More clump. You're welcome. I haven't had clump talk in a while. Nothing to react. There was Rima. Rima put out a video on the whole Cinder situation, but that's an hour long. I did want to react to it, but it's an hour long. I don't know if I got the energy to watch it today. Oh, there was also a Legal Eagle video I saved. Hold on. Was that a long video? Let me check. Legal Eagle. Legal myths that will land you in prison. How long was this video? Oh, this is 18 minutes. We can watch this one. Let's watch Legal Eagle. This one's a pretty short video. Where's my react? There it is. We can watch this Legal Eagle video. Legal Eagle is 13 days ago? Okay, not too bad. Yeah, I have a lot of videos in my in my list that I need to react to. But this is Legal Eagle, legal myths that will land you in prison. r/bad legal advice.
Do some crimes. Who hasn't? Well,
oh snap. I'm gonna assume audio's good.
So you've decided to do some crimes. Who hasn't? Well, thanks to those legal myths that TV shows and fake lawyers on Reddit continue to spread, you're probably in for the biggest surprise of your life. So the cops just burst through your door without a warrant, they didn't read you your Miranda rights, and you're probably going to be found guilty on nothing but circumstantial evidence, and you're defending yourself in the courtroom when it happens.
Hey, that's
even
illegal.
If you can't afford it, you are not entitled to an attorney. Because myth number one, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Yes, that's right, you are not entitled to an attorney. Well, to be more accurate, it very much depends. The founders were really serious about giving people individual rights against police and prosecutors, and that's why the Sixth Amendment says, quote, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. And the Supreme Court recognizes why this is a foundational right. Quote, of all the rights that an accused person has, the right to be represented by counsel is by far the most pervasive, for it affects his ability to assert any other rights he may have. But the baseline right to an appointed attorney comes from the Supreme Court's 1963 decision in Gideon versus Wainwright, and in that case, a Florida man named Clarence Earl Gideon was charged with a felony and couldn't afford a lawyer. He asked the court to appoint one, but they said no because Florida only provided lawyers in capital cases. Capital cases are where the defendant, if convicted, could face death. Gideon defended himself, lost, and went to prison. He appealed all the way to the Supreme Court, which unanimously ruled that the Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to counsel in all criminal cases, even for those who can't afford to pay. But something got lost in translation because most people think this means you have a right to a free lawyer. Well, sort of. Gideon established a requirement that states must provide attorneys to indigent defendants in felony cases. In a later case, the court clarified that the right to counsel applies to misdemeanor and petty offenses as well, as long as the defendant faces the possibility of incarceration. Now, the Supreme Court probably should have just stopped it right there. Unfortunately, it wasn't done tinkering with the right to counsel. Instead of adopting a simple standard like you get a lawyer if the offense could lead to jail time, the Supreme Court pulled an Avril Lavigne and couldn't help but go and make things complicated. In Scott versus Illinois, the court held that the state does not have to provide a lawyer for a misdemeanor unless imprisonment is actually imposed by the judge. Oh, SCOTUS, why do you have to go and make things so complicated? I see the way you're ruling like some other country gets me frustrated. Now, in our video about America's most unhinged judges, I talked about how a Texas judge abused this very principle by coercing defendants into marriage in cases where jail was a possibility but not a certainty.
Huh? Wait, go back, stop. Huh? A judge forced two people to get married? How? Wait, hold on. I need them to back up on that.
Some other country gets me frustrated. Now, in our video about America's most unhinged judges, I talked about how a Texas judge abused this very principle by coercing defendants into marriage in cases where jail was a possibility but not a certainty. Now, none of the people the judge pressured into marriage were represented by counsel, even though their charged offenses could have led to jail time. And that was a legal catch-22. You only get a lawyer if you're going to jail, but by the time you know that, you've already gone through your hearing without one. And as usual with constitutional rights, terms and conditions apply. The fine print says that even when you do qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, the process isn't automatic. You have to apply for it, disclose your financials, and wait for the court to assign someone. And about those financials, while the lawyer truly is free for those who qualify, not many people qualify. Who qualifies as too poor to afford an attorney varies from state to state and sometimes from county to county. Many states use a multiple of the federal poverty guidelines to determine indigency, and so in 2025, the federal poverty guideline for a single person was $15,650. And many states set their number at 125% of that guideline, which means the person would have to earn less than $18,825 to get a free lawyer in those states. So yes, you have a right to counsel, but it's not a universal safety net. It's more like a conditional offer. If you're facing jail, if you're poor enough, and if the court says so, congrats, you get a lawyer. Else you
Okay, so myth busted. Anything you say, or if you don't have an attorney, one will be provided to you. It's, I guess, circumstantial, he said, depending on the state and the county, right? You don't go to jail unless you face jail, or you don't get an attorney unless you're facing jail time, he said.
Better hope that the cops forget to read you your Miranda rights, because then you walk free. No arrest, no charges, just a smug smile as you strut out of the interrogation room, right?
Terms and conditions apply.
Police failed to read me my rights. Case dismissed. Nope, that is wrong. But that hasn't stopped pop culture from spreading this myth. It's going to come as a shock, but real life is not a Medea movie.
You forgot to Mirandize her?
That old woman got the strength of any man.
I've got to let you go.
Now, the Miranda warning, which starts with you have the right to remain silent, comes from the 1966 Supreme Court
say
case of Miranda versus Arizona.
Law.
Before the police can interrogate someone who is in custody, they must inform them of their Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights, the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. If they don't, any statements made during the interrogation can be thrown out under the exclusionary rule, which is the legal doctrine that bars illegally obtained evidence from trial.
Wait, do I know it? I think I mostly know it from TV shows. You have the right to remain silent. Anything say canon will be used against you in a court of law. If you do not have an attorney, won't be provided for you. Or it's something like that. But that's like the TV version. I don't know the actual version because I've never been arrested by the cop or went to jail.
But Miranda only protects your words, not your actions. So if the cops find a kilo of meth in your trunk, no amount of unread rights is going to make that disappear. On top of that, according to the Supreme Court, Miranda only kicks in when there is a custodial interrogation. If a suspect voluntarily comes to the police station and talks, that doesn't mean he or she is in custody. The takeaway? Miranda applies when a reasonable person would feel they are not free to leave. If the police arrest you for that kilo of meth in your trunk, but don't ask any questions, no warning needed. If they ask you questions before you're arrested and you answer voluntarily, still no Miranda required. That's why failure to read Miranda rights isn't a get out of jail free card. So the next time a TV lawyer says they didn't read you your rights, so the case gets thrown in the bin, know this: the only thing that's going in the bin is that script's grade for legal accuracy. Now, if your plan to avoid all this legal trouble is to just lay low at home where police can't get to you without a warrant, well, I've got some more bad news for you. Myth number 3, police can't enter your home without a warrant. Now, it's a staple of legal dramas and TikTok and Know Your Rights videos. Police need a warrant to enter your house.
This is my own private domicile and I will not be harassed.
From what I know, they can enter your home without a warrant, but they can't like grab evidence from your home without a warrant, right? Because if they grab something that's supposed to be evidence for your trial against you, and they didn't have a warrant to go get that, then that evidence isn't like is inadmissible in court or something, right? Because they can't just go in your house and grab whatever and then present it against you as evidence in court, and they didn't have any right to go grab that thing.
Now, to be fair to Jesse Pinkman, this myth is based on a real rule. The Fourth Amendment does protect your home from unreasonable searches and seizures. Generally, the police need a warrant to enter your residence. But there are so many exceptions to the warrant rule that they almost swallow the whole Fourth Amendment. If you've ever lived in LA and participated in our city's national pastime, watching car chases on live TV, you know just how common it is for...
because my understanding of it, they can't enter your home, but they can't search and seize your home without permission. Like, they can't just look and take anything. Like, even like on your direct property, like they can't, like if your trash can's out because it's trash day and the trash hasn't been picked up yet, they can't go through your trash can because your trash can's still on your property, right? Or it's still your property. They can't just look through your trash can.
Suspects on the run to drive home like they're sliding into home base yelling safe.
Oh no.
But that's not how any of this works. Here's how it really works. A warrantless entry is usually considered unconstitutional unless it falls into a recognized exception like consent, hot pursuit, plain view, search incident to arrest, stop and frisk, special needs/administrative searches, and the automobile exception. But the biggest exception to the warrant requirement is exigent circumstances. Under that doctrine, police can enter a dwelling without a warrant if there's an emergency, like someone is in danger, a suspect is about to flee, or evidence is about to be destroyed. Now that seems straightforward enough, but it's not. Imagine this: the police are chasing a suspect through an apartment complex. They lose track of him but smell marijuana coming from one of the units. They knock, loudly announce themselves as police, and then hear movement inside. The police officers think they hear people scrambling and a toilet flushing. Convinced evidence is being destroyed, the officers kick in the door and find drugs. But here's the twist. The suspect they were chasing wasn't even inside because the cops entered the wrong apartment. Now that happened in a real case called Kentucky versus King. The defendant in that apartment argued the police shouldn't have been allowed to enter without a warrant because the police themselves created the emergency by knocking and announcing their presence. But the Supreme Court sided with the police. As long as officers act lawfully by knocking and announcing, they're not barred from entering if they hear sounds suggesting evidence is being destroyed, even if the suspect isn't inside. And if the people inside react in a way that makes officers reasonably believe evidence is being destroyed, the cops can enter without a warrant. And there's an iconic scene at the end of Goodfellas where Karen Hill, panicked and desperate, races to the bathroom and flushes a stash of cocaine down the toilet just as the FBI closes in. And this is a textbook example of why the exigent circumstances exception exists. If the police had waited outside to get a warrant, the evidence would be long gone. And the law allows for that kind of split-second
Understandable.
judgment. So while the Fourth Amendment does offer strong protections for your home, the phrase "you need a warrant" isn't a magic shield. If the police smell drugs, hear flushing toilets, or think someone's in danger, they might not need one. Now, if you believe any of these legal myths, you'll probably want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, let my law firm, the Eagle Team, help. If you've got in a car crash, suffered a data breach, especially if you got a data breach letter,
He's got to slide that promo in chat.
or dealing with a workers' comp or social security issue,
He's got a
we
business to
represent you and
run.
we'll find you the right attorney. And by the way, we don't get paid unless you do, so there's nothing up front. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. So okay, you're busted.
And speaking of promos, did you know that you can get 10% off of your advanced GG orders by using my code CLUMP10 for 10% off of your purchases?
At least this is America, where our Constitution explicitly states that everyone is entitled to their day in court. Ah, such a comforting thought. I think you know where this is going. Myth number 4, everyone is entitled to their day in court. Now, in America, we do things by the book. And if that means that if someone has wronged you or you were wrongfully accused, you get your chance to face off to prove your truth. It sounds like a constitutional promise. And yes, the Constitution does talk about trials. Article 3, Section 2 says, a trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury. The Sixth Amendment guarantees that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. In 1968, the Supreme Court established that the right to a jury trial is a fundamental right applicable to the states through the 14th Amendment. That's all true. But here's why people believe that everyone is entitled to their day in court. The right to a trial is not absolute. In criminal court, the right to a jury trial only kicks in if the offense is considered serious. In Baldwin versus New York, the Supreme Court ruled that crimes punishable by more than 6 months in jail are serious enough to require a jury trial. But for petty offenses with lighter penalties, you might face a judge, not a jury. And even when trial is possible, over 90% of criminal cases end in plea deals, not courtroom battles. So you may be entitled to a trial in theory, but in practice, most people never have one. And in civil cases, you're not automatically guaranteed a full-blown trial at all. Most lawsuits never make it that far. They get dismissed, settled, or decided through motions like summary judgment, where the judge rules there's no need for a trial because the law clearly favors one side. And of course, we've all seen Harvey Specter settle a $1 billion lawsuit over bourbon and banter in the span of a single afternoon. But in real life, civil cases often drag on for years, and that's because in civil cases, there's no such thing as a right to a speedy trial, although that also depends state by state. But there are also legal doctrines that make it hard for litigants to ever get their day in court. A major example is qualified immunity, a doctrine often invoked by police and government officials in civil rights.
To be honest, the amount of plea deals on American courts is crazy. Because a lot of people would rather like just pay or like settle or take the plea deal than actually waste more time and potentially a lot more money going through a whole trial, you know. At least that's my understanding. It's more expensive if you go the long way and go through a whole trial.
Cases, it shields them from liability unless the plaintiff can show that the official violated clearly established law. Defendants can appeal a denial of qualified immunity before trial, triggering years of appellate delay, while various courts try to determine whether a person has the right to sue the officers. So while you're technically suing, you might be stuck in legal limbo without ever setting foot in a courtroom. In Hollywood, justice is always served in 42 minutes plus commercials. But in the real world, your day in court may be hundreds of days waiting for the court to decide whether you're even allowed to ask for one, which is why it's usually best to avoid trial in the first.
It's just that plea deals aren't offered that much. It's not like well, I don't know if plea deals are standard practice here, honestly. Okay, I get what you mean.
First place, what you can do with this one neat trick: just declare yourself a sovereign citizen. Myth number 5, the sovereign citizen loophole. Now,
sovereign citizens are real. Sovereign citizens are not a real thing. I just like, you know, do not claim yourself to be a sovereign citizen, at least in American court, because it's not a real thing. I think literally sovereign citizens originated from Reddit. It's not a real thing.
Believe the government has no power over them because they're sovereign citizens, independent, self-governing individuals immune to the laws that apply to the rest of us. They've got a laundry list of legal theories to back this up, including the belief that they don't have to pay taxes and that the U.S. legal system has no jurisdiction over them.
Us, but not for you.
And you've probably seen some sweet, sweet justice.
I'm not entirely
shatter their
sure.
delusions.
Step out of the vehicle for $500.
Step.
You can search me for $500 cash. I'll get in the car for $500.
But what you might not know about this stupid movement is that it's based on a legal theory inspired by a printer's error. The sovereign citizen idea originated with a group founded by Christian minister William Gale in the 1970s. His group, Posse Comitatus, believed that there was no higher authority than the county sheriff. It began as a group peddling your everyday stock racism and anti-Semitism, but when they started talking about the evils of taxation,
Of course.
the movement really took off. Which brings me to the printer's error that animates their legal theory. Sovereign citizens are 13thers, people who believe there is a secret 13th Amendment to the Constitution. Now, in the real world, the actual 13th Amendment, the one ratified by the states, abolished slavery. But 13thers think that an older amendment which failed to pass is actually the law of the land. The Titles of Nobility Amendment was a proposed amendment to the Constitution that would have stripped United States citizenship from any citizen who accepted a title of nobility from an emperor, king, prince, or foreign power. Congress passed it in 1812 during the panic about Napoleon's brother marrying an American citizen. You know, what happened if their son tried to become king of America? And freaking out about Napoleon's American nephew is like worrying about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's daughter one day becoming Queen of America. And Americans eventually figured that out, but a majority of the states never ratified the Nobility Amendment, and it's not part of the Constitution. Do you hear me, 13thers? It's not a real amendment. However, in 1850...
Also, it doesn't make sense in the first place since America is not a monarchy. So it wouldn't even be like, we don't have a fucking king or queen, bro.
15, a Philadelphia printing house made the mistake of including the unratified
There are no
amendment in its
lords and
volumes.
ladies of the
error was not
American
fixed
land.
until 1845. So for 30 years, untold volumes of text went out in the world representing that the 13th Amendment had passed ratification. But when the real 13th Amendment passed ratification and abolished slavery, the consequences were seismic enough to clear up any confusion about the typo. But that didn't stop conspiracy theorist David Dodge in the early 1980s from finding himself a copy of the Constitution with this error and having a big eureka but stupid moment. He concocted an elaborate conspiracy that this secret 13th Amendment actually invalidates the entire U.S. justice system. Why? Because lawyers and judges have titles. Lawyers use the title Esquire, and judges are known as the Honorable, or, you know, Your Honor. So sovereign citizens think that lawyers and judges, through licensure, accept titles and therefore are no longer American citizens.
Huh? Wait, I need him to repeat that.
Entire U.S. justice system. Why? Because lawyers and judges have titles. Lawyers use the title Esquire, and judges are known as the Honorable, or, you know, Your Honor. So sovereign citizens think that lawyers and judges, through licensure, accept titles and therefore are no longer American citizens. Now, all of this, of course, has been thoroughly rejected by the courts. So sadly, I can't force anyone to call me Sir Devon Stone, defender of the sovereign laws, or Legal Eagle, Baron of the bench. And titles of nobility are already banned by the Constitution. See Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8. So America doesn't have an official aristocracy. When a lawyer dies,
Wait a second. That means my dog's a lawyer. My dog is literally named Chewy Chewington Chewers the Third Esquire. My mom made my dog a judge. Oh my gosh. My dog's a lady, chat. She's a lady of a land.
children don't inherit the law license, and lawyers are still U.S. citizens, at least for now. But it doesn't matter how many times the courts slap this theory down, people just won't give up on it. And sovereign citizen lore is beloved by jailhouse lawyers, inmates who know just enough law to file long-winded legal briefs arguing that the courts do not have any jurisdiction over their cases. And you can probably excuse people with no legal training who barely have access to a law library from falling into the sovereign citizen trap. But this bogus legal theory has also been championed by people who should know better, like the Iowa Republican Party. Iowa Republicans put the missing 13th Amendment into their 2010 party platform, and they tried to argue that President Obama forfeited his citizenship by accepting an award from the Nobel Prize Committee, which was apparently a foreign state. And although this is funny in the abstract, conspiracy theories can have some serious consequences. Over the years, the movement has fanned out from its anti-Semitic and racist origins. The sovereign citizen movement now attracts people of every race, religion, and political persuasion. Unfortunately, I mean, we're all for diversity and equality, but maybe not about something that's incredibly stupid. But sovereign citizens have been known to file notices of liens against property for the purpose of harassing the true owner. And this tactic—
Wait, can you say that again? Can you say that again?
Over the years, the movement has fanned out from its anti-Semitic and racist origins. The sovereign citizen movement now attracts people of every race, religion, and political persuasion. Unfortunately, I mean, we're all for diversity and equality, but maybe not about something that's incredibly stupid. But sovereign citizens have been known to file notices
So
and liens against
truly
property for the
legal.
purpose of harassing the true owner. And this tactic, which has been called paper terrorism, clouds title to real estate and other property. People espousing sovereign citizen theory produce fake arrest warrants, forge banknotes, and even issue their own currency, which, I shouldn't have to tell you this, are very much crimes. But let's say that doesn't stop you from picking up some criminal charges. You finally get your day in court, and you're feeling optimistic that the jury's going to find you not guilty for all the wacky sovereign citizen crime you definitely did not do, you rascal, because all the state's evidence is circumstantial. Myth number 6, all the evidence is circumstantial, they'll never convict me. You've heard it in courtroom dramas, shouted by defendants who think they...
No, I'm pretty sure even circumstantial evidence can land you in jail. Because at some point, there's so much circumstantial evidence that it's the only option, you know?
You've found a loophole. You can't convict me. All the evidence is just merely circumstantial. Even Law & Order is guilty of this one.
There's circumstantial evidence and a statement from his son.
Now, this won't do at all.
And the idea is that if there's no smoking gun, no eyewitnesses, and no confession, then the prosecution doesn't have a case. But here's the truth. Circumstantial evidence is not only admissible, it's often just as strong and sometimes stronger than what we call direct evidence. But let's define some terms here. Direct evidence is evidence that directly proves a key fact at issue without needing any inferences. So an example is an eyewitness saw the crime, a video, or the weapon used in the crime. And circumstantial evidence is evidence that requires an inference to connect it to a conclusion. Examples include forensic evidence such as fingerprints and bloodstains, or documentary evidence like business records or text messages. If a witness
Wait. I would think fingerprints and bloodstains are pretty direct, if you ask me. I guess depending on what it's on or what it is, but
fingerprints and bloodstains or documentary evidence.
like you can't call fingerprints and bloodstains circumstantial when there's a murder, right? Like there's fingerprints on the gun, and those fingerprints tied to the fingerprints are the same fingerprints of the convicted. It would still be circumstantial. Oh, that seems a bit strange to me. I don't know.
Business records or text messages. If a witness testifies that they saw you stab someone, that's direct evidence. But if they say they saw you leave the victim's house at midnight covered in blood, and then
Imagine you grab a knife and someone puts a glove on and uses that knife to kill someone. Okay, I see. Gotcha.
watched you toss a knife into a storm drain,
Yeah.
well, that's circumstantial. But that seems pretty strong, and a jury can convict you on that evidence alone. And that's why juries are routinely instructed that the law makes no distinction between the weight or value to be given to either direct or circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence is not a lesser form of proof, it's just a different kind. As the Supreme Court has long recognized, circumstantial evidence is not only sufficient, but also maybe more certain, satisfying, and persuasive than direct evidence. And in fact, most juries believe that DNA evidence is the gold standard for determining whether someone is guilty. But DNA evidence is generally considered circumstantial. It does not directly prove a crime was committed, but it can be used to infer a connection between a person and the crime scene or an object. So circumstantial evidence isn't lesser evidence. Pop culture gets that wrong a lot. But lawyers can definitely attack the inferences drawn from the circumstantial evidence. And when it comes to destroying circumstantial evidence, no movie has ever been more accurate than My Cousin Vinny.
What is this rusty, dusty, dirty-looking thing over your window?
It's a screen.
A screen. It's a screen.
He is walking the witness down a logical path that he's not going to be able to get out of, which is that there's a lot of stuff between his vantage point and the events that he is an eyewitness to. And the eponymous Vinny doesn't argue that the evidence is invalid because it's circumstantial. He just shows that it leads to the wrong conclusion. Now, My Cousin Vinny's mastery of circumstantial evidence is a big reason why I called it the perfect legal movie, and that's because of its screenwriter, Dale Launer. And if you love the movie like I do, you can check out the extended cut of my interview with the screenwriter on today's sponsor Nebula, where we really get into the legal nuances of this masterpiece of courtroom drama. And for a limited time, you can get a lifetime membership for Nebula. You can buy once and then never again. It's the greatest steal of all. Now, we've really been active on Nebula this year with tons of Nebula exclusive videos, like our analysis of how RFK Jr. can legally or not legally ban vaccines, or our video on unhinged judges that went too far. It's also the only place to watch my feature-length documentary, Bad Law Words Good, and a bunch of videos about lawsuits and topics that are way
unhinged
too
judges, because
not
you
safe
mentioned
for
that
work
one
for
earlier.
YouTube. Because on Nebula, you can watch all of our videos ad-free and early, because our videos always go up on Nebula first. And you can check out tons of original videos from your favorite creators like Johnny Harris, Neo, Jetlag, Real Engineering, Real Life Lore, and hundreds more. And in particular, you can watch the Nebula original series called Modern Conflicts by Real Life Lore, which just dropped a gripping documentary about the manhunt for El Chapo. I highly recommend checking that out. Because what's truly special about Nebula is a creator-owned platform built by me and other YouTubers and podcasters. And because it's a subscription service, we get to work on larger, higher budget productions than we could anywhere else. It's becoming the go-to place where creators can make content their audiences love, free from the constraints of the algorithm or unwanted outside pressure. And for those of you that want to share everything Nebula has to offer with your friends and family, Nebula is now offering an annual gift card. If you sign up using my link that's on screen right now, you can give a year of Nebula to a friend for 40% off the yearly subscription, a year of the best content for just $36. And that's a gift that you can give to yourself, by the way, because
We are
you
good
deserve
reactors,
it.
chat.
Or
We
you can check
watch
out
the
lifetime
promos.
subscription where for $300, you can get access to Nebula forever. We're investing in even
We
more
watch
big
through
concept, high-octane
sponsorship.
Nebula originals, and your lifetime subscription goes towards that investment. In a way, Lifetime is the best possible deal of all. Either way, you'll get all my videos early, get access to exclusives, and support the ambitious projects that my friends and I are working on our own streaming site. So sign up now and get you or a friend 40% off the incredible Lifetime deal by clicking on the link below. After that, click on this link over here for more Legal Eagle, or I'll see you in court.
Ah! I want to see. Yeah, America's Most Unhinged Judges. This one's fit. Let's do this one. Let's watch this one.
Everyone knows.
Why is my captions on? Was that caption on the whole time? I'll keep it on. America's Most Unhinged Judges. You can't watch this one since he mentioned it like 3 times in the last video.
Everyone knows a judge can sentence you to jail or give you a fine. But did you know that they have a ton of discretion to fashion a punishment to fit the crime? And much to Hester Prynne's dismay, they could force you to wear a scarlet letter, force you to listen to Barry Manilow, or make you live in a terrible apartment. For example, 20-year-old Diamond Gaston walked into a Burger King and pepper sprayed an employee. I guess they weren't serving it her way. And that eventually landed her in the courtroom of Ohio Municipal Judge Michael Cicconetti, where she was facing sentencing for assault charges. But Judge Cicconetti gave her a choice: 30 days in jail, or allow her victim to pepper spray her in the face right then and there. And what followed was truly one of the most bizarre scenes in American justice history.
If you don't want to do 30 days in jail, which you'd be going right now, I'll allow Mr. Rolls to have his vengeance. And that is to give you a shot at pepper spray.
She got
Oh my
off
goodness.
easy. The judge made sure the spray was only filled with water.
Yes, that's right, Judge Cicconetti sentenced Gaston to be a subject of a courtroom prank of his own design. But this likely came as no surprise to anyone who followed.
What? That was allowed? How was that allowed? That's crazy.
His cases, as Judge Cicconetti achieved viral
An eye
internet
for an
fame
eye, I
his
guess.
inventive criminal punishments. In another case, 3 men were caught attempting to solicit sex from an undercover cop posing as a prostitute, and Judge Cicconetti offered them a choice between jail time with a fine or standing on a street corner for 3 hours while holding signs that declared "No Chicken Ranch in Plainsville."
Very humiliating.
Huh?
Very embarrassing.
Now, whether or not the citizens
Wait. So they tried to solicit sex from an undercover cop that was posing as a prostitute, and he could have given them like the fine or the jail time or whatever, or he had them dress in chicken suits and for how long? No, I would have told them to like go on a street corner and try to solicit sex. Eye for an eye, right? Like, oh, you wanna solicit sex from a prostitute? I want you to go act as a prostitute for one night and try to solicit sex from anybody. Eye for an eye.
Plainsville, Ohio, knew that this was a reference to the name of the brothel in the movie The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas is anyone's guess. But many of Judge Cicconetti's punishments involve public shaming, which critics argue is a type of Scarlet Letter style punishment that has no place in modern society. Judge Cicconetti, however, disagrees on the basis that the people in his court are always given the option to take a traditional sentence, and most of the time they choose whatever spectacle he dreams up instead. And it's hard to argue that his sentences don't provoke a feeling of cause
That would be
injustice
insanely
beyond the
illegal.
limitations of the justice system. In one such case, a woman abandoned 35 kittens in the woods in the middle of winter, 9 of whom perished. And the judge was set to give her the maximum sentence of 90 days in jail for domestic animal abuse. But the judge offered the woman a choice. Instead of 90 days in the slammer, she could serve 14 days in jail and give a $500 donation to the park rangers who found the kittens, pay $3,200 to the Humane Society, and spend one night alone in the woods.
So I
A whole night alone in the woods?
Let's do the same.
Wait, that one night alone in the woods kind of just sounded like he made that up on the spot.
I want you to go out in the woods and spend the night alone, see how you like it.
And the woman took the deal. In his defense, Judge Cicconetti wants his criminal sentences to have a relationship
Wait,
to
what
the
if she
crime,
got lost?
and his approach seems to be
What if she
working.
became a missing
The national
person?
recidivism rate is around 75%, but in Judge Cicconetti's courtroom, it's 10%. And apparently his creative sentences have won him the respect of his peers, who even elected him as president of the American Judges Association. But not everyone sees it this way. Attorney Lisa Bloom told Court TV, quote, "It can make light of the justice system. I don't see that it works. I see that it's demeaning to the defendant, possibly would deter them from committing those crimes in the future, but I don't think it necessarily deters other people." Now,
I can see what they're saying, like the whole public shaming thing. I could definitely see it with like the chicken costume one. Like, why did he give them the option to make those guys spin signs in chicken costumes? That kind of seemed like really random, honestly, and doesn't really seem like a punishment either.
The Eighth Amendment specifically forbids cruel and unusual punishments, and while Eighth Amendment cases typically focus on the cruel aspect of the criminal punishment in question, we have yet to see any Supreme Court rulings on whether the wearing of a hideous chicken suit in public constitutes a violation of the constitutional rights, as unusual as that is. But would forcing a 21-year-old criminal defendant to marry his 19-year-old girlfriend constitute a cruel and unusual punishment? Well, in Texas, Judge Randall Rogers didn't think so, giving new meaning to the term life sentence. When police charged Justin Bundy with assault for punching his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, the judge gave him a choice: marry your girlfriend or serve 15 days in jail.
Wait. So, huh? Wait. The guy punched the girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, and instead of just going to jail for, what did he say, 19 days? Instead of going to jail, he forced him to marry his 19-year-old girlfriend? What kind of punishment is that?
Faced with jail time and the risk of losing his job, Bundy opted for marriage. Judge Roberts also required Bundy to write a Bible verse 25 times per day, specifically Proverbs 26:27, quote, "If a man digs a pit, he will fall into it." Now, one would hope this Bible verse gave him second thoughts about marrying a teenager, but who's to say? As news of the unusual punishment...
That's just an ineffective sentence. Okay, so not only did he have him marry his teenage girlfriend, she's 19. It's still kind of weird. He's 21. Wait, how old was he? Hold on. Did he say he was 21? I hope I didn't misread that or mishear that. He's 21. She's 19. She is pretty young, honestly. So that is kind of strange that he would offer that in the first place. But also, where did her parents come into this? Did she have any parents just to like try to say what the fuck? Because that was my daughter, and the judge forced my daughter to marry somebody as punishment for the other guy. I'm like, what the fuck, man? What? Huh?
Spread, other couples came forward with their own tales of court-compelled marriage. Michelle Powell and her boyfriend were facing shoplifting charges after they failed to scan some products in the self-checkout line. At least that was their story.
It happened multiple
During the
times?
first court
That's
appearance,
crazy.
Judge Rogers discovered the couple lived together, but they were not married. According to the transcripts, Judge Roberts proclaimed, quote, "If you get within 100 feet of him during the probation, you go to jail." But then he offered them an alleged reprieve. He said, quote, "Do you two want to run off and get married and come back?" The couple agreed to get hitched, and the judge dismissed the charges. But I probably don't need to tell you this: forced marriage is legally problematic. The choice to marry is a personal decision central to individual freedom.
Yeah, what?
And the Supreme Court recognizes marriage.
That's definitely like, what do you call it? Old school shit. That's crazy. Like literally forcing two people to get married. That's crazy. I don't care what the situation was. That's insane.
As a fundamental right protected under the Due Process and Equal Protection Clauses of the 14th Amendment. So coercing someone into marriage infringes on the personal autonomy and is probably a violation of constitutional rights. But in the case of the first marriage, Bundy was terrified that he would lose his job if he was incarcerated and felt he had no choice but to take the deal. And while it's likely that Bundy would have won on appeal, the damage would have already been done. These sentences were also disturbing because Judge Rogers only encouraged marriage when the defendants didn't have lawyers. But at least the story has a relatively happy ending. After the local news exposed Judge Rogers, the Freedom from Religion Foundation filed a complaint with the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct. Now, the SCJC rarely penalizes judges, but they formally sanctioned Judge Rogers. The commission's records are private, so we don't know if the commission reprimanded the judge for the Bible verse, the marriage punishment, or both. But regardless, it's safe to say, at least for the time being, that you can't force your deeply held religious beliefs about marriage onto subjects of your court. But what happens when a judge ignores the Constitution in their creative sentencing and both the defendant and the victims agree to it? Well, in 2011, 17-year-old Tyler Alfred from Oklahoma was charged with first-degree manslaughter after a DUI crash that killed his passenger. Although his blood alcohol content was below the adult legal limit of 0.08, Oklahoma's laws for underage drinking applied and thus warranted stricter sentencing. But that's when Judge Mike Norman got creative. Alfred was given a deferred sentence, meaning that he would serve no prison time so long as he followed rules set out by the judge, which included things like graduating high school, going to welding school, undergoing substance testing for 1 year, and attending church weekly for 10 years. You might not have caught that. Part of his sentence was to attend church weekly for 10 years, violating his First Amendment freedom to practice or not practice religion. Now, the craziest thing about the sentence is that the
does he have like a probation officer following up on him? Like how do you enforce that? First of all, also going to welding school specifically. Like why welding school specifically? Why not just say any college of your choice? Why welding? What? Oh my goodness! Who's gonna follow up on this guy on that?
The judge agreed it was unconstitutional. Judge Norman said he had used the church sentence before. And
going to church? Is a judge gonna text him every Sunday? he'll be like, "It's the Lord's Day. You there?"
He would keep right on doing it. That's because the perpetrator and the victim were both happy with the sentence. Judge Norman said he didn't think anyone would challenge the sentence, and he was right. The defendants possess the clear right to challenge their sentences, as they are directly affected by the court's judgment, but Alfred was pleased with the sentence because he didn't have to spend time in prison. And victims have some limited...
I would say having to be forced to go to church is kind of a prison sentence in of itself. Like, I don't think the judge thinks forcing him to go to church isn't in a form a prison sentence.
Standing to challenge criminal
for 10 years.
We talked about in our video about Adnan Syed. But
10 years is a long time, man.
Proceedings can't challenge the constitutionality of that sentence. But that doesn't mean that everyone thought it was a swell idea to violate the Constitution. The ACLU of Oklahoma did not have the right to appeal Alfred's sentence directly, so they filed a complaint to have the judge sanctioned. The complaint, submitted to the Oklahoma Council on Judicial Complaints, alleged that Judge Norman's mandate infringed upon the establishment and free exercise clauses of the First Amendment, as well as similar provisions of the Oklahoma Constitution.
Sorry, I'm blocking you.
The ACLU of Oklahoma's executive director, Ryan Kiesel, emphasized that the government cannot compel individuals to participate in religious activities, stating, quote, "It is shocking that a judge would so blatantly ignore the First Amendment, which at a minimum prevents the government from forcing church attendance and from interfering in deeply personal matters of faith." Now, despite the ACLU's complaint, there is no public record indicating that Judge Norman faced any formal sanctions or disciplinary actions from the Oklahoma Council on Judicial Complaints or any other judicial oversight body. But once again, the matter of judicial discipline might have been resolved behind closed doors. Now, obviously, if you're faced with a bizarre criminal punishment, you'll want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, let my law firm.
I understand the defendant's
If you've gotten in a car crash,
I guess I do understand that he wouldn't consider it. He would consider it better than prison, but that's only 10 years, but only around 1 hour a week. Yeah, hold on. Does he have to do it only one day? Because there are like some churches that are like that are open like all week. At least some of them. I don't know if all of them are, but some of them definitely. Depends on the church he went to, honestly.
Suffered a data breach, especially if you've gotten a data breach letter saying your information might have been leaked, or
did he have to specify which church
issue,
specifically?
We can represent you or help find you.
Like, did he have to specify whether it's a Catholic or Christian church?
Attorney. It's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so you can.
Did he at least have some kind of choice on which church he went to?
Unless you do, so there's nothing up front. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need a legal team. Or you might end up like one of these schmucks. But don't worry, things get even weirder. In Fort Lupton, Colorado, Municipal Judge Paul Sacco took a creative approach to penalizing teenagers who violated local noise ordinances. He required offenders to spend an hour listening to music they might find unappealing, such as Barry Manilow's I Write the Songs, The Platters' Only You, Tony Orlando and Dawn's Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree, and the theme from Barney the Dinosaur. For YouTube reasons and ethical reasons, I will spare you from hearing any of those songs. But oh boy, an hour of this borders on cruel and unusual punishment. Now, Judge Sacco noticed that the offenders of the noise ordinance would simply show up to court, pay the fines, and more often than not, re-offend again. He thought that by subjecting offenders to music they disliked, they might better understand the discomfort they caused others by playing loud or disruptive music, telling reporters, quote, most kids don't want to hear someone like Glenn Close trying to sing opera.
Catholic or Protestant? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't know much about religion, chat.
Now, once word spread about the noisy sentence, rowdy teams seem to have taken note. And according to Judge Sacco, none of the teenagers sentenced to forced Manilow re-offended. There's also some evidence that Judge Sacco might have become a Manilow himself. Quote, I actually don't think Manilow's too bad. And in 2017, a judge in Hawaii took a similar path, but for a much more serious offense. A few weeks before his sentence, Darren Young was arrested for violating a restraining order when he sent 144 abusive text messages to his ex-girlfriend. Judge Rhonda Liu sentenced Young to write 144 compliments about his ex-girlfriend, matching the number of offensive messages that he had sent. Additionally,
Wait, huh? He already had a restraining order, right? And he sent 144 abusive text messages violating that restraining order. That restraining order is still in place, right? So you're forcing him to continue to violate his restraining order by forcing him to continue to write messages to the person he was abusing and who actively doesn't want any of his attention. That seems more punishment on the girlfriend rather than the guy. You gotta pay attention to theology to conclude your divine studies, Your Highness. I know.
She fined him $2,400, assigned him 200 hours of community service, and placed him on 2 years probation. Judge Liu wanted him to reflect on his behavior and change, stating, quote, for every nasty thing you said about her, you're going to say a nice thing. No repeating words. And apparently it worked. Young expressed remorse during the sentencing, fulfilling the court-imposed obligations, and moved forward with his life. Now, these approaches are examples of alternative sentencing aimed at rehabilitation.
I don't know about the girlfriend, but I would have absolutely fucking hated that. Like, I got a restraining order for a reason, right? I don't fucking want his goddamn... I want him to stop texting me, is the point. I want him to stop contacting me. Don't have him contact me more as a court order.
And deterrence, and as goofy as they may sound, they touch on one of the biggest problems facing the criminal justice system, specifically the country's high rate of recidivism. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, approximately 68% of prisoners are rearrested within 3 years of release, and 83% are rearrested at least once within 10 years of release.
I love
and of
Dalmatians.
course, prisons are overpopulated and overburdened. And so in recent years, courts are increasingly experimenting with creative sentences that emphasize restitution and rehabilitation over incarceration and strict adhesion to the sentencing guidelines. And that brings us to California, where federal judge Vaughn Walker was tasked to punish Sean Gementera for stealing letters from mailboxes. Gementera was found guilty for stealing 42 pieces of mail, including a U.S. Treasury check for $1,500.
That's a federal crime.
And had an extensive criminal history of similar offenses. Judge Walker sentenced him to...
She killed them? You don't know about Cruella? Cruella's the dog snatcher and dog killer. She killed dogs to make her fur coats. That's the reason why she went after the Dalmatian family, because she wanted their fur. And she was going to kill them for their fur. What, she just gonna kidnap dogs, shave them, and then take them back to their homes? She has to get rid of the evidence.
2 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release, which included some unconventional conditions. The judge made Gementera stand for 8
I
hours
watched that movie
outside
in
of a San
2000.
Francisco
It's
postal
okay.
facility, wearing a signboard stating, quote, "I stole mail, this is my punishment." His other release conditions included observing patrons at a post office lost and found window,
The
writing,
Monokuma hair gives Cruella vibes. Cruella was not the inspiration, chat. Okay. I did not have black and white hair because I wanted to be Cruella DeVille. I have black and white hair to signify the balance between good and evil and the light and darkness of the universe, okay?
apology letters to his victims and delivering
The
lectures
creation
at
and
local high
chaos
schools
of
about
the,
his
of the
crime and
universe.
his
That's why it's
consequences. The federal judges
black
had
and
broad
white.
discretion in setting conditions of probation and release, and Judge Walker justified his
Hi,
creative punishment
Axolotl.
in this ruling, writing, quote, "There are people who depend on the integrity and security of the mail in very important ways, and that a crime of this kind
I did not
that he
want to look
committed
like
abuses that
Two-Face.
trust which people place in the
I
mail.
hate y'all,
How else
chat.
can he be made to realize that then by coming face to face with people who use the postal service? That's the idea." And the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the ruling 2-1. The judge also explained that Gementera refused to acknowledge the seriousness of the crime, and his punishment reflected the people's interest in him understanding that stealing mail is not a victimless crime. But unlike the cases presided over by Judge Cicconetti, who gave out similar public shaming punishments, Gementera was never given the public shaming punishment as an option, and so his attorneys argued on appeal that the court's creative sentence violated his Eighth Amendment rights. However, the appellate court ruled in favor of the judge and against the appeal, finding that since the signboard was
Yeah,
reasonably
let me state for the record. Can I have what do you call it? A stenographer? Is that what they call it? The person that records things in the courtroom, the stenographer or whatever? I think that's wrong, but put it on record. I am not Monokuma. I am not Cruella DeVille. I am not Two-Face. I am not any other split hair VTuber or character in fiction. I am Nirvana Tenchi.
related to the legitimate objectives laid out by Judge Walker, the sentence did not constitute cruel and unusual punishment. Now, dissenting Judge Michael Hawkins said there was no rehabilitation in public shaming, and he compared the sentence to the stocks and pillories of colonial America and the Scarlet Letter. The Supreme Court ultimately declined to take up the case, which means that humiliating signboard punishments are probably still legal. Now, banishment is a criminal punishment that's as old as civilization itself. And while modern law generally
straight to the
frowns on
shadow
it,
realm,
it seems that the state of Georgia never got the message. In 1994, Gregory Mac Terry pleaded guilty to aggravated stalking, aggravated assault, reckless driving, attempting to elude a police officer, passing within 200 feet of oncoming traffic, driving with a suspended license, and criminal trespass.
That's a lot of
The trial
crimes.
judge sentenced him to 30 years in prison. However, when the state finally granted his parole, the judge banished Terry from living in every Georgia county but one, Toombs County, a rural area more than 200 miles from Terry's home. Terry challenged his condition of probation on the basis that it violated the Georgia Constitution.
Toombs County? That does sound like some no man's land type shit. Toombs County? Was the whole county just a bunch of gravestones?
Which states, quote, "Neither banishment beyond the limits of the state nor whipping shall be allowed as a punishment for crime." Now that seems pretty clear. Banishment is unconstitutional, so banishment from 158 of 159 counties in Georgia is surely illegal, right? Wrong. The Georgia Supreme Court said that historically banishment
Big
is
YouTuber got
construed,
arrested?
quote, narrowly to mean only banishment beyond the limits of the state.
Not surprising.
Now, Terry wasn't technically banished from the state of Georgia, although as the court pointed out, his victims probably wish that he had been. Terry's victims were his ex-wife and son, and the record shows that he violated a restraining order when he committed this crime. And throughout the incarceration, Terry
Was it
continued to
another
threaten and
Minecraft
contact them
YouTuber?
against their wishes. So the Georgia Supreme Court found that banishment to Toombs County had a rehabilitative purpose and a protective purpose. The court said, quote, "It was Terry whose movements had to be curtailed, not hers, and a scheme that allowed her to move freely about most of the state without fear of Terry was appropriate." Now, these were some crazy criminal punishments, but that's just the half of it. There have been so many weird punishments doled out over the years that we couldn't fit them into this single video. So we made an exclusive companion video of even more bizarre criminal punishments, which you can only see if you sign up with today's sponsor, Nebula. Because on
Popular MMOs. I was kidding about the Minecraft YouTuber thing. He's a Minecraft YouTuber, ain't he? I was kidding.
Nebula, you can watch all of our videos ad-free and early, because our videos always go up on Nebula first. Plus, there's tons of exclusive content.
Are you serious?
For a limited time, you can get a lifetime membership. You can buy once and then never again. It's the greatest deal of all. And if you're new here, Nebula includes tons of exclusive videos from me, original series from your favorite people, movies, plays, classes, and more. I've heard it described as Netflix for people that like trains, with your favorites like Johnny Harris, Neo, Jetlag, Real Engineering, Real Life
Did
Lore,
Moist
your most
Critical
favorite
put out a
movie.
video?
And exclusives on Nebula are getting really good. Recently, I enjoyed watching Rift Track's commentary of Plan 9 from Outer Space, and I think it's so cool that the former MST3K people
Yeah,
are
okay.
on
We'll
Nebula.
watch Moist
You can also see
after.
my exclusive feature-length
Hi, Zard.
documentary, Bad Law, Words Good,
Thank you for
my
Braid.
full-length interview with the screenwriter of My Cousin Vinny, and my Not Safe for Work video about lawsuits that are too hot for YouTube. Because what's truly special about Nebula is that it's a creator-owned platform built by me and other YouTubers and podcasters, and because it's a subscription service, we get to work on larger, higher-budget productions than we ever could anywhere else. It's becoming the answer to the question, how do you get Hollywood-level production value without Hollywood-level BS? And for those of you that want to share everything Nebula has to offer with your friends and family, Nebula now offers annual gift cards. So if you sign up using my link that's on screen right now or down below, you can give a year of Nebula to a friend for 40% off the yearly subscription. That's a year of the best content for just $36. And that's a gift that you can give to yourself, by the way, because you deserve it. Or you can check out the lifetime deal where for $300 you can get access to Nebula forever. We're investing in even more big concept, high-octane Nebula originals, and your lifetime subscription
We'll
goes
watch the
towards
Moist
that
video
investment.
after this
In a way,
one.
Lifetime is the
That'll be
best
the last one we
possible deal
watch.
of all. And either way, you'll get access to my videos early, get access to exclusives, and support the ambitious projects that my friends and I are working on our own streaming site. So sign up now and get you or a friend 40%, or get the incredible lifetime deal by clicking on the link below. And after that, click on this link over here for more Legal Eagle, or I'll see you in court.
All right, so Moist Critical put out a video. Oh, this a day ago. I missed this.
There's a new
Huge Minecraft YouTuber arrested. I was kidding about the Minecraft YouTuber thing.
body cam that just dropped today that's got a lot of people talking because it features an extremely big Minecraft YouTuber named Popular MMOs.
Hey, wake up, man. I don't got all day for you. Wake up. Wake your ass up.
Weird and a ton of fireball. Homie is messed up.
Just put your arms like you're praying.
Look on what?
Like you're praying.
Yeah, just make like palms touch.
Is he drunk? Oh, he's trying to run.
You won't believe who it is, Sarge. It's YouTube boy.
It's really sad to see someone spiral like this. Yeah, it was a really bad call to try and run away from the cops, especially in the condition he was in. He was way too fucking hammered. He was in a different dimension. He had left the corporeal realm. So when he tried to run away, it was in slow motion. He was looking like a claymation out there at 5 frames per second. So not the best call there for sure. One thing I found really weird about this, and you see it a bit at the end of the Sizzler reel where the officer goes, "It's YouTube boy," sounding like the owl from the How Many Licks Does It Take to Get to the Center of a Tootsie Pop commercial, is that these
I was gonna say, it did kind of sound a little bit like the cop was mocking him when he said that. Like, low-key.
officers seem to fucking hate the idea of YouTube as a career. Like, it's not something Popular MMOs himself brought up where he was like, you know, dusting his shoulder off. "Yeah, I'm a YouTuber. You can let me go now. Yeah, I'm a big deal." You know, squeezing on his own nipples or anything. He didn't bring it up. They found out, and then they start making fun of him for it and just kind of insulting it. They were just bullying him for YouTubing, like being a YouTuber. I half expected them to take him to a toilet and give him a swirly, or like an atomic wedgie while calling him a dork.
On March 20th, 2024, officers in Jacksonville, Florida receive reports of a man sleeping on a residential street. What they don't expect is to find one of YouTube's most popular former stars, who turns a simple wellness check into a chaotic encounter, leaving another mark on an already unraveling legacy.
I'm going to jail again. You can Minecraft that.
What?
What?
That doesn't even make sense. He can Minecraft that. What in tarnation kind of hogwash? If you're gonna try and come in here with your, you know,
The cops kind of sound like a dick, honestly.
At the end, at least have it be something sensible. "We're Ender dragging his ass to the slammer," or something like that. Better than this garbage, because this was nothing. This was literally.
Hi there. I just came home from picking my sister up at the airport, and there's a man kind of laying in the road. Any drink or drugs, weapons involved that you know of? I do not know. Do you think he's trying to harm himself? I think he might be dead, or I don't know.
An officer arrives to find a man lying on the pavement beneath a streetlight, dressed on...
Kind of. The person I called did seem like they were like genuinely worried about him, because if he was just lying there not responding or anything, yeah, it is cause for where there might just be a random dead guy on the street. So yeah. Hop having a donut eater moment.
Only in shorts and a t-shirt despite the chilly 45-degree weather.
So 911 received this call from a concerned citizen expressing that they thought this person might be dead. I half expected them to roll up and encounter a Peter Griffin death pose, but that was not the case. He looks like he was sleeping peaceful as fuck. He is sleeping like an angel right now. He looks comfortable. I am actually jealous of like how soundly this man is sleeping on the concrete.
Hey, buddy.
Honestly, yeah, the ground does kind of look comfortable.
Hey, sheriff's office.
45 degrees. You know how hot it is over here? I love 45 degrees right now.
Do you live here? Huh? Hey, wake up, man. I don't got all day for you. Wake up. Wake your ass up.
You had a bit too much drink tonight, man? You're good?
You live here?
Where do you live? Some of these. I can't hear you, man. I had a lot of sales rolls there, sorry. You had a lot of what? See some girls.
He is really hammered, obviously. And his voice is really deep and like really gravelly right now, so he almost sounds like Jigs.
Where was he? Like, was he out at a bar drinking and then he grabbed like a Uber home and then the driver just left him on the curb and then he just fell asleep on the spot? Was he at home drinking and then he left the house, like walked out and then ended up, like what happened? How did he end up there in the first place?
Jigsaw. If Jigsaw was sculling Fireball. Almost sounds like he's casting some kind of spell sometimes.
Alright, well, hurry up, bro, because you're about to be going to jail.
I'm going to jail?
Yeah, you're sleeping on the ground.
Probably at least like 20 minutes out. I was just drinking. Friends wanted to come over to make sure I was good, that's all. So how do you get over here? Just drove. That's all they did. Somebody dropped
drove?
Yeah, they dropped me off here, yeah.
You need rescue to come check you out?
No, I'm actually fine.
Okay, well, can you call Uber or somebody to come get you? Because you're in this condition, you're not even safe to walk.
So they were talking to him for like 45 seconds while he was trying to like recombobulate himself back to reality and, you know, get the sleepies out of his eyes and snap back to it. One of the officers like kind of threatens that he's going to go to jail if he doesn't like hurry up. So then he stands up, he explains...
Yeah. One of the cops, like, right off the bat was just being incredibly hostile and aggressive for, like, no reason. Like, they're there for a wellness check, not to arrest somebody.
That he was there drinking...
But the cop just rolls up, immediately got a stick up his ass or whatever. Like, what?
Friends, and now the officers are saying, just get an Uber or get a friend to come over and take you home because you're in no shape to walk. Also, you're nowhere near home. It's not even walking distance, even if you're like the fastest fucking power walker in the world.
Pat? What's your last name, Mr. Pat? Julian L. Can you spell that for me?
Better known as Pat, 35-year-old Patrick Thomas Julianelle is the creator behind the massively successful YouTube channel, Popular MMOs.
Oh, no, it's dead. Dead? Yeah, that's what it's saying is, like, that little battery alert you're getting, that means it's dead and you need to charge it.
Now, one of the officers must have recognized that at the time because then it gets brought up about him being a YouTube star a lot. So the problem is his phone's dead, which is why he doesn't have an Uber or a friend to call. Would also explain why he's walking home and then eventually, you know, passed out on the sidewalk. So what the officers say is that they can charge his phone and he can wait in the car while he, you know, warms up because it's cold out. Like, he's dressed like it's spring break, but it's actually pretty cold. 45 degrees in Florida, that might as well be -5 everywhere else in the world. It's tough down here when it gets below 60. So, like, he's not in proper attire for that. 45-degree weather here, you're layered up in 5 different wool coats, you know what I mean? So the officer offers the car for it, and then that's where things go tits up.
I don't really feel like getting arrested.
Yeah, you're sleeping on the ground.
Yeah, no.
Multiple people are calling it in. Their person might be dead. You want to sit inside the car. It's nice and warm.
I just don't want to go to jail again.
Pat is no stranger to the
Again?
justice system. On May 16, 2021, he was arrested on charges of domestic battery causing bodily harm, but the case was later dropped. According to multiple news reports at the time, Julia Nell posted a statement on Twitter shortly after the incident that has since been deleted, claiming the accusations were false.
I vaguely remember bits and pieces of that story.
I'm not familiar. I don't know. I don't really follow any Minecraft YouTubers, honestly. I'm not entirely sure what that was all about.
Recall little tiddlywinks of the details there, but it's brought up here because Pat made a mention about not wanting to go to jail again, so I guess EW followed up with what the previous time was, so they mention it here.
Place your bag on top of my hood. I just got to pat you down before you go inside my car. Place your phone right there. Okay. Just real quick, just put your hands out. You don't have no weapons, anything. You don't have anything on your bag that should be worried of. Any drugs or anything? Huh? No, it's just called. Do you mind if I search your bag real quick?
Officers allow Pat to warm up in the back of the cruiser while his phone charges in the front seat.
The officer gives him some pats for Patrick and then invites him into the back of the vehicle to warm up, but not before asking if he can search his bag, which Pat gives them consent to do. Big blunder here. He got put in the scholar's mate because they find marijuana and alcohol in his bag. The alcohol's not a problem, but the marijuana was. I'm guessing he forgot it was there, or he was just so intoxicated he didn't really know what he was agreeing.
Well, never mind. I was gonna ask whether they really had a reason to need the axe to search his bag, but I guess it doesn't matter. I guess I don't know.
But that's about to change everything.
Weed and a ton of Fireball. Homie is messed up. That's why I asked. I knew. knew. He spelled his own last name wrong. What's his name?
Yeah, so they checked his inventory here. They found substances they weren't super happy to find, or maybe they were happy.
So that was a giant ass bottle of whatever that was.
One of the officers mentions he spelled his own last name wrong, which he's extremely fucked up.
He's drunk,
it's
bro.
Not super surprising. It's just really sad. This is a guy who has a history of struggling with substance abuse, as I understand it. I'm not super familiar with popular MMOs. As most of you know, I'm not the biggest Minecraft enthusiast. Like, I understand why it's like the most popular game ever. I just never got into it to that level. But from what I understand, he does have a history of struggling with this addiction. And now that the officers have found the marijuana on his person, they are going to be taking him into custody. But not before one of the officers wants to make sure that this is the YouTuber he thinks it is.
The other confirms his suspicions that Pat is indeed the well-known YouTube star.
Oh, Fireball's good to mix with lemon soda. Is it strong? Salvage your tip of the day.
Hey, quick question for you. Did you used to play Xbox or anything like that?
Not Xbox. I never played Xbox.
You didn't.
What? Based? Xbox fucking sucks.
Have like a YouTube channel?
YouTube, yeah, but not Xbox.
What was the YouTube channel about?
Video games.
What type of video games?
Minecraft.
Minecraft? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Minecraft YouTubing. Yep, that's an additional charge, buddy. It was just going to be drugs, but now we got to charge you with cringe as well. Now that the cat's out of the bag, they start calling him YouTube Boy quite a few times. It's also really weird listening to them talk about YouTubing as a career and how, like, they don't really seem to get it, which is surprising because they're not old. Like, they have to know that there's careers on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this mystical, mythological beast anymore, this World Wide Web thing.
That's YouTube Boy off Commissioner Drive.
Just checked out the bag there. I mean, there's nothing to the bag, so.
Also, hold on. They're low-key mocking him in front of him. Like, he is there. He can see and hear them. Yeah, he's drunk, but he can still hear them. They're just openly mocking him, like right to his face.
Just put your arms like you're praying.
Look on what?
Like you're praying.
Yeah, just like palms touch. We're not doing this. All right.
Kill 261 fighting one. Kill 261 fighting one. Stop resisting. Already.
So they decide to arrest him for the possession of marijuana, and as they're going to put him in cuffs, he tries to break...
Why did he try to run? He's drunk. He said he didn't want to get arrested again. But he's in a drunken state. He's not in his right state of mind right now. You know? But he wouldn't have gotten arrested, I don't think. Like, he might have just been taken to jail for the night for the marijuana thing, but at that moment he was actively going to resist arrest and run from the police, so yeah.
Break away. It doesn't go very far, but you can hear him say something that's just extremely sad, where he says he's tired of it all before they bring him to the ground. They also said that he was resisting with violence, claiming that he kicked them. I didn't really see that in the body cam because it looks like they kind of potato sacked him immediately. It's not like he got very far and he was already really unsteady on his feet, but that is part of this. I can't confirm or deny if there were any kicks being thrown. All I know is that the trying to run away was a terrible idea. Like, even if he was in, prime shape right now, not super fucked up, even if he had all the makings of a varsity athlete, he was still not going to get far there. They had already had his arms behind his back. Unless he had like an ender pearl to throw to get out of there, I think his goose was cooked on that plan.
He's big on, well, used to be big on YouTube.
Playing Minecraft.
And my 5-year-old grew up.
But he made a lot of money.
5-year-olds.
What are you doing here?
Say a friend dropped him off. But it doesn't make sense.
With strippers.
So he's like currently big in Minecraft now?
No, he died off about a year and a half ago.
He made
Millions. I looked him up on YouTube before. You won't believe who it is, Sarge. Who is it? It's YouTube boy.
I just find that so strange because it's not like this is some kind of like oddball career. It's like the number one thing kids want to be these days is like...
They're kind of low-key acting like it's the early days of YouTube. kind of low-key, like YouTube was such a weird, obscure thing when it's not. It's like a normal thing now. Like, they're acting like it's the weirdest thing.
Like a YouTuber and shit. Like, there's no way they could be that in the dark on it, where they're acting like it's such a foreign concept of making money online, playing video games. Now they're calling him YouTube boy, like some kind of wacky, zany alien creature. I don't know, it's just very surprising to me, because this is just like, it's Florida. They're not in like podunk middle of nowhere where they don't have internet access or something. I don't know, I just found that behavior very surprising, I suppose.
He's the one who ran through the Gator game.
Yeah,
the Jaguar game.
The Jag game.
In 2022, Pat and two others were arrested after one of them ran onto the field during a Jacksonville Jaguars football game. He received a withhold of adjudication and a sentence of 2 days in jail with 2 days credit for time served.
That I never heard of. That is an interesting plan. I have to imagine alcohol was involved with that decision making as well. Yikes.
You gotta resisting.
Yeah.
You're going to jail.
Again.
You can Minecraft that.
What does that mean?
35-year-old Patrick
that still makes no sense.
Was formally charged with resisting an officer with
that
violence.
Was definitely like that was definitely like a Jack Black. First we mine, then we craft. Let's Minecraft kind of line right there. Like what does that even mean, bro?
As well as possession of marijuana under 20 grams. In 2024, he was declared indigent, meaning a determination was made that he couldn't afford a private attorney, and he was appointed a public defender.
This part actually shocked me. Like a child watching the Pokemon movie for the first time when Ash gets turned to stone.
I blinked out. How long?
My jaw on the floor here. That he would be declared indigent and unable to afford a private attorney. He did undoubtedly make millions of dollars from his career on YouTube. That is a fact. Making Minecraft content being the size he was, he definitely did make millions. To have no money left to afford an attorney is mind-boggling. That's just tragic. And I know that happens a lot where a superstar pisses away all their money in a very short amount of time, but that is an unbelievable amount of money to somehow not have access to at all anymore. It's just all gone, all just dried up. Holy shit.
He initially entered a plea of not guilty, but later accepted a plea deal on November 20th, 2024, to the Police Memorial Fund and write an apology to the officer he assaulted. However, on January 8th...
Wait, I still haven't seen any evidence of an assault. Yep, hold on. Probation of 12 months, serve 100 community hours, substance abuse follow-up treatment, $1,000 donation to the Police Memorial Fund? What? and he has to write an apology. And he has to make and record an apology video directly naming the officer and plugging his channel, plugging his YouTube channel. Or what kind of conditions are those? Huh?
And write an apology to the officer he assaulted. However, on January 8th, 2025, he was found to have violated his probation due to substance-related issues after failing a drug test on December 20th, 2024. Pat claimed he was given a pill at a party several days earlier and didn't realize what was in it.
After the plea deal, he had some of the charges dropped
and was still in the
had
system several days after?
stipulations and probation,
That doesn't make
which
sense.
he did subsequently violate after he claims he got served a pill at a party and didn't know what was in it. So it's not like things have been looking up for him. It's not like he's, you know, getting the help he needs. He's still very much struggling with it. And even to this day, it seems, is still having problems with the law and having problems with drugs and alcohol.
This violation led to a warrant for his arrest issued on January 10th, 2025. On February 2nd, 2025, police responded to Pat's home address in reference to a mentally ill person, where he then was arrested for the active warrant. His probation was subsequently modified to include GPS monitoring and completion of an inpatient treatment program. On May 12, 2025, a warrant was issued for his arrest due to a second violation of probation, when he submitted a urine sample which tested positive for marijuana and alcohol.
Yeah, so it is still an ongoing issue, a huge battle he's still engaged in here. It needs professional help for sure, because it's ruining his life. Like, his life has been circling the drain, it seems, and it's fucking rough to see. But anyway, I saw this body cam today and just wanted to talk about it a bit, and that's really it. So, yeah.
It is a bit sad. It does, based on what we saw about all of his drug problems and getting arrested for his drug problems, he is spiraling, so it is a little bit sad to see, honestly. Hello? Oh. Do I remember Futuristic Hub? I didn't watch a lot of Minecraft YouTubers. But if I remember right, Futuristic Hub was a 3D animator that was making low-key softcore porn. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on Twitch, but if I remember right, he was that 3D animator that was low-key making softcore content for kids. I didn't watch him at all. I only know about him from third-hand accounts from other videos. He's like, guys, if you watched him, you know it's a joke. It wouldn't be a joke if he made so much content out of it, bro. Like, even a joke has some amount of truth to it, you know? That will be it for today chat. Longer than I wanted, 2 hours, but it's okay. Let me see, is anybody on? No. Nobody's on to raid. So I will end it here today. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. We will do more reacting, and we'll definitely do gaming tomorrow. Yes. Hold on, hold on. Here you go. Say bye, club. Bye, chat. See you tomorrow. Bye. Give them kisses, club.